While we are waiting, I figure I might as well introduce myself. I am Phantom Fox there, and it looks like we are getting started here. uh, as with this new tournament, we are in standard. We are in standard mode, having to go through the escape portion there, and getting a guaranteed weapon out of from Uncle there. In this case, we have the fire rod right out of the gate, a very useful item there. But we still have yet to get the magic from it there. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that item is not the guaranteed item that you get from Uncle at the beginning of the escape there. So we'll actually be having two weapons right off the bat. If you get the fire rod from Uncle himself, you also get a magic refill to go with it as well there. And coming right up onto Uncle, we have the bow and some 30 arrows to go with there. So now we have two weapons at our disposal. It should make some quick mincemeat of all the guards in this area. And the power glows right out of the bat as well there. We're having a very generous start today with our first piece towards Dark World access right out of the gate there. And also the key item that will unlock the good portions of both Palace of Darkness and Eastern Palace there. The bow has been known to give a lot of people trouble whenever it's hidden in obscure spots, so it's always nice to have it ready to go.
Hey, and with this, I mean, they're using the fire rod, and that's probably a good idea. I would personally use the bow. They're both doing it.
Yes, I mean, you don't want to run out of magic in a tight spot, and especially when you might need it later.
It's a lot easier to farm out the bombs, because it's a very important thing to find bombs.
Yes, you definitely will need those bombs to get into that bombable wall at the back of Escape there. And we have the Moon Pearl as well. This seed is throwing everything at our runners right out of the gate. So with the gloves there and the Moon Pearl there, we've got two more steps to Dark World access right at the very beginning there. The hammer or the Titan's Mitts is all that we need to be able to get into the Dark World.
Yeah, I wouldn't make any judgments about the speed of the seed just yet. Having a lot of options, well, they have Easter, but they don't actually have anything extra opened up just yet. It's just like they have a bunch of half pieces.
That is correct there. But that last piece of the puzzle could give them quite a while to find there, but it's very unusual to see so many key items right out of the gate in every chest so far. We have not even run across any of the generic trash items yet. Here we go. The fire rod one-shots the ball and chain guard there, although Shadow decides to opt for the arrows, and a little slightly slower up Zelda, and they're both mere seconds away from each other, heading out to the back portion of Escape. And it looks like...
Oh, yeah, and it looks like we're just going to be returning. So this part, honestly, there's no real way to speed it up unless you are good at NMG. Ironically, Clifford doing something that would work if he was doing it the opposite. So when you're moving left or when you're moving right, you actually want to move right, like just right. But if you're moving north, you want to move north, well, like mash in left or right. When you're facing up or to the left in Link to the Past, you're actually moving slower than if your character is facing down or to the right. Which is why sometimes you'll see runners in the vanilla game, in their overworld movement, face plant their face into southern walls. Because it's not that it's faster, it's that it's not slower, if that made sense.
Yes, does facing impact at all any?
Yep, facing is what matters. Based on when you're moving north or left. When you're moving up or left, you have one frame movements. It alternates between 2 frame and 1 frame movements, but when you're moving south or to the right, you are always moving 2 frames.
All right.
That's
Now, interesting thing to note here is that Clifford has found one bomb there, but Shadow's yet to farm up any bombs yet. But with the plethora of enemies down here in the dark escape sewers there, that should not be a problem. But we'll see what we find.
yeah, and it depends on where he got that bomb. Because if it was from the rats, it should be easy enough. But he's not using that fire rod to farm up here.
Interesting choice there, and we find the map inside of the dark chest there. But we are getting closer and closer to that bombable wall to get to those 3 chests. Now, if they can't get into it right now, they do have the option to just drop down straight into there later once they do have a bomb, especially now that they have the power gloves.
Now, if you're killing this T-Rat, you do actually want to try to use the bow, just because that fire animation can take a little bit of time. So no bombs for Shadow yet. I don't remember where he got the bomb drop. Clifford did. If it was off of a guard or if it was off of these guys. If it was off of a guard, he might not see. Oh, he's just gonna say screw. He's just gonna say no, and that's fine. But it looks like there was a sword. But as he already has the gloves, so he can just come back later. The only thing you have to worry about being in there is your only glove.
Now we'll have to see how well Shadow is at swordless modes, but having bow and fire rod right out of the gate there, I doubt he'll have many offensive problems at all.
Honestly, I've started to play that way intentionally and just ignoring the bombable wall and escape. If I get the bomb, it's nice. If not, it just, especially with some of these starts where you have so few resources, I'd just rather get to Kakariko. There's 10 chests there, and yeah, the only way that you will be in trouble for skipping that is if it is their only glove. It's the only way.
That's right. And then we've got both of our runners checking the getting their tree poles ready there, and heading up into the lumberjack cave to see if there's anything of importance up there. And it's just a single rupee there, even less of a worth than usual. But it looks like both of our runners are taking the northern route through towards Kakariko first off there. Going to be heading into the Lost Woods there to find the one item that's just lying on the ground near the Master Sword pedestal entrance there. And we've got hearts as the drop from the Scuttle Crabs.
And a very useless lumberjack cave.
Just 1 rupee there. Not even 300 rupees or anything else useful there. But at the bottom of the Thieves' Hideout there, we have the Book of Medora there. Now, given that they're in Lostwood already there, would you go and check that pedestal just on the off chance that there might be something important there?
Well, with these items specifically, I'm going straight to desert. I literally mean straight to desert. These items are basically yelling at you. The only thing stopping them is the boots.
The boots would get you that one. Well, you would need to get the item off the torch there. It may or may not be strictly required, so we'll have to see what else we find in there.
Yeah, that's basically what I mean. Like, that's the only thing. I 100%. When you have the fire rod, easy kill. The sword, easy kill-ish. Slow kill, but... Oh, we're even just to the pedestal! Oh, man.
Oh, if you found something interesting here, this would be a big knowledge gain there.
Yeah, this play is worth the time loss, I think. No, just that. So now he knows for sure that when he collects all the items in a pendant dungeon, he can leave safely. So that's why checking the pet is important. Now Shadow has to think, what if? What if there's an item on back of his mind the whole run? Well, until he checks it.
This is true, yes. Now, for those who have been watching from the Key Sanity tournament previously there, this is just the standard mode there. All the keys are in their respective dungeons, which also strictly limits the amount of useful items that could possibly be in any single dungeon. So it's the amount of stuff that can be in a dungeon is maybe slightly less than you would otherwise find there, just due to a lot of the chests being taken up by keys that are required to be in there. And we've got Shadow heading into Chicken Hut there, while Clifford is continuing to do more exploration through Kakariko. And Shadow finds the lantern in the Chicken Hut there. He will now be an illuminated Shadow.
Yeah, and that's just another reason to do, like, you can already complete 2 light world dungeons. Again, depending on the boots. Clifford doing a older strategy. This is more often used in open. But try to get the bomb drop from those the grass there, and then moving into this hut. This is something you'll see a lot in the open mode tournaments, but not in this one. Just because you normally will have enough bombs or enough money, but he didn't actually have either.
Yeah, Shadow opted to buy the bombs from the shop there with that 300 rupees that he had pulled from Blind's hut, I believe. Now, with the lantern there, that also gives it access to Death Mountain, the legit way. These players can just blind dark room run things, but it will also let you do Eastern Palace without having to stumble through the blind rooms or the dark rooms as well.
It also lets you know that Eastern could be logically required. Now, if I'm these runners and I've already cleared the south half of the village, I would go to Death Mountain. I just leave the village the north way. But neither of them went further south and checked race game. So.
Not yet, at least there. You could go to Death Mountain and pick up the few items that you can there. Although without the hammer, you can't get over to the east side and over to the Paradox Cave just yet. So, well, the options that I'm seeing on the table right now are mainly, well, you could do Hera as well, since you have the Moon Pearl. But you don't have the mirror, so that actually may not be all that useful. But Desert definitely is on the on the menu there, as well as Palace.
There's the other sword, or another sword, and Shadow checking the race game rather than just doing it. He has 10 bombs, so just gotta save him 1 bomb.
Yeah, the prize for that only being a bomb upgrade there, which is questionably useful.
It's useful when you get it, it's not useful to go get.
Yeah, pretty much. There. But with that save and quit there, we got Shadow back in the Sanctuary there. That's sort of signaling to me that they're going towards Death Mountain.
Nope,
or
he's
perhaps
checking the thing that he's checked. Which is a very smart idea, because he already has the gloves.
That is correct. Do it while it's still fresh in your mind, rather than having it be that one thing that you just forget about.
Yeah, with the early glove, that actually... So the way that standard logic works is that the items here are still locked behind the lamp, or the gloves. So the gloves can only be there if you have a lamp, because that's the only way that you can get back to those chests. But in this case, since he has the gloves, he can just use his gloves to get there. And we're seeing Clifford bomb through instead. Good idea.
Meanwhile, Shadow is making a beeline straight towards Desert, it appears like, or at least the drained swamp there to see what's at the lake bed. And we have synchronized bomb pickups, although bomb's a different type there, but just 3 bombs at the dam. And now Shadow's is going to drain the swamp to see what lies beneath that. Now, some runners opt to go and put this part of it when they do Swamp Palace there, but honestly, it's part of an early check. You might as well just do it, just because. And he's rewarded by a piece of heart, which he elects to ignore, and opts to go instead towards the mini Moldorm cave, whereas Clifford is going straight towards Eastern Palace.
Yeah, the quick Eastern Palace made sense with the items that you have. Like, it's basically yelling at you to go.
Pretty much, and we did see that Eastern Palace was a crystal there, while the other 2 dungeons are pendants.
Okay, that was a little sketchy from Shadow, but he got through it.
And there's our third sword there. Oh, well, the second sword
Wow.
for Clifford there, but the third sword that we have located so far.
Man, so set lamp and 2 swords. Now that, well, 3. Well, second sword. We don't know how to get the third sword yet. We don't know where the boots are.
That is going to remain a mystery for now there, but at least we have them located so we can wrap them in once we do find those boots. But let's see, and Shadow's continuing down through South Shore to head towards the Ice Rod Cave, and let's see what else is there, whereas Clifford is just now into Eastern Palace.
So at this point, I as a runner in a 1v1 tournament race, thinking, oh, Aja's open. That's not what I want to know. And that's also when there's always the thing in these 1v1 races. If you go for like the really long shot, and Aja, if you didn't know, is a 25% chance to be required in every single seed, or in every single out of 25,000 seeds, 1/4 of those were Aja seeds. So at what point do you, in a tournament race like this, go straight there? Because then you actually having that portal open, if it's required, is actually a decent time save. That overworld access can be quite useful, or that dark world access.
Indeed, there. I mean, they have yet to find either the Titans or the Hammers to give them on-demand access there, so it might actually be required, like you say, but we'll have to see what Eastern Palace nets us so far. Haven't found anything interesting as of yet, but we have still got a ways to go.
Yeah, both runners choosing to go here, and both runners going to end up with the Master Sword.
Alright, so looks like Shadow's checked a few more things than Clifford has, just due to their routing choices there. And we've got Shadow confirming that yes, this is indeed a crystal dungeon.
Oh, and Desert is not interesting.
No, it does not have that green pendant there. I did not check to see what Sasha said. It looks like Ice Palace actually has the last pendant.
Well, those are actually quite easily accessible. With what we have right now, that's already kind of easily accessible. We just need the Hammer and the Titans, and technically the Flipper, but you can ignore that part. Both runners also have enough for Zora. Just a quick note.
I don't believe the logic takes into account rupee drops as part of the Zora requirements, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
No, it does not. It can require you to farm.
Which is unfortunate, but I mean, it's just one item spot there. It's unlikely to hold anything, but we'll have to see.
Yeah.
Oh, Clifford actually going for the enemy clear in this room instead of lifting the pot.
He missed the he missed the initial damage boost, and with only 4 hearts, it's pretty difficult to do if you're not used to it. It's single arrow, where the big key for that leads you to the bow would normally be.
Interesting there. So, question is, how many more of the prize items are left in this dungeon for them to find?
I did not keep track, but either way, it is a crystal. Now, please go into the fairy room. No, he's gonna risk it. Okay. Please don't die.
He finds the key and is moving in there, ignoring the dark room side of the dungeon for right now. Looks like he has everything he wants from the dungeon as of yet. And he goes through the Igor room, through the Cannonball room, and should be coming up to the boss room very shortly, as soon as he takes out this one last Igor and these 2 Astolfos.
And with that, he's just going to do the double red Igor room, still low on health, grabbing the extra arrows, because, you know, may as well if you're not 100% comfortable.
And Clifford is the first into the Armos Knights there. Is set up good, takes out the first Armos Knight, pins the others against the wall, and is just shooting right straight into the merry-go-round. And gets the last one before it even goes into red mode.
Yep,
And
that
gets
is
the first crystal.
That is the traditional quick kill for that boss, is you shoot 5 to the right, and then you shoot the rest towards the left as they come towards you. That is how you're supposed to do it in the speed run.
Good execution nonetheless there. So now the question is, do you go to Desert Palace from here knowing that it's a pendant there, or do you try and explore some more and see what else is opens up?
It being a pendant, me personally, I'd go to Agenum with what I have in a 1v1 race. But I am quite literally a gambler, so don't do that. Desert is the most sensible play right now.
Yeah, it looks like Clifford is going to check out the dam. He's not going to find up there, but if he decides to go to the desert, he may swing by Agina's cave on the way to check out what that chest holds.
Mm-hmm.
And also the desert ledge as well there, although you can't really get much else there, aside from just diving straight into the desert. Which thankfully is short enough and might hold a few things, you never know.
There's also Zora, now that Clifford has the money for it. I don't think either runner had the money for it while they were here the first time. Well, Clifford hadn't come here, but Shadow didn't have the money to do it the first time. The sensible play would, for him right now, it looks like, is going to Zora.
Go through mini Moldorms, use the fake flippers glitch to get in up to the Zora area, and pick up Hobo on the way.
With the move pearl, it lets you enter the room, so in theory you'd want to delay Desert here, possibly, just to see if you can find the, what's it called? The boots. Because the boots make that 100% play to Desert.
Pretty much. Then you'd be able to 100% full clear it then. Because, I mean, obviously, if you can fully skip a dungeon and take a risk if there's something interesting in there, that is always a good reward for being able to do so. It's just a big time save.
And the way that the current randomizer is, the overworld is a little bit biased toward, not really biased.
All right, so Shadow successfully taking down the Armos Knights as well. Looks like, well, Clifford is fake flipping his way, as we suspected, up towards Zora and the Hobo. Or, not in that order, of course. But where is Shadow going here? They've already checked the dam, so that's not where they're going to. It looks like they're heading into the desert area.
Yeah, so a little split here.
All right, and at Hobo there, we have him be giving a
Okay,
almost
nice.
vanilla there. We got a bottle.
No, that is vanilla. So the bottles in Randomizer, all bottles in vanilla are empty by default, but the Randomizer, just for some extra fun, has the ability to give you a golden bee, a bee, a blue potion, a red potion, a green potion, nothing, as it would normally be, or a fairy. So
But
just for some
unfortunately, he
added
only
fun.
gets bees. Oh, but Shadow picks up the fire shield from Agina's cave there. Useful in limited situations, but it's still nice to have. All right, and Clifford is managed to successfully get his way up to the Zora area. Gonna use the go back in and see what these two chests are.
Full heart and Bombos, so at least one somewhat useful item. It's, with it not being a crystal ice, it might not be as useful.
This is true there. I mean, however, we do know, well, we don't know yet there, but with the randomizer there, for those who do not know there, the medallion entrances for Misery Mire and for Turtle Rock are also randomized. So Bombos may or may not be required for that. But meanwhile, we have Shadow85 heading into the desert. They're going to be checking out those things, seeing if anything is required on that bonk torch. And Zora just having a heart container.
Yeah, this being a integral part of this run is if this desert can be completed, and it cannot be.
He needs those boots to get the key off the torch.
Yeah, he can't even. Wow, interesting. So your next play, if you are avoiding Aghanim as much as you can, is Death Mountain. Just quickly go there and check to see what the 2 items you can get are, or you go straight to Aghanim and say, you know what, let's just take this Dark World, let's go.
And Shadow finds the silver arrows on Desert Ledge there. Now, while not strictly required, as with glitches you can get beat Ganon there, it still is a good time save on Ganon and several bosses as well.
It saves about 30 to 45 seconds, so it's usually on Ganon alone, sorry. So it's, especially in Randomizer, if you can spend even as much as a minute getting it, like Bumper Cave or some more complicated stuff, you can do that.
And it looks like Shadow's heading up towards Death Mountain to explore those 2 locations right there. But outside of that there, it may be Aghanim is our required progression forward. The amount of options that we're given are slowly dwindling.
Yeah, it's really just Death Mountain. Yeah, no, it is in fact just Death Mountain and Aghanim himself.
Yep, the Spectacle Rock Cave and the prize from the old man that he's escorting there. Clifford is going into desert now, going to be discovering that he is more or less wasting his time at the present moment, but it's still a good thing to know. So
without Mirror, he can only get Old Man and can only get the other item. The other thing that these runners are probably going to be slightly worried about is their health, which is very low.
Clifford has picked up several more heart containers, though. There, he's at what looks like to be 8 hearts, and we're 2 more than Shadow. Oh, and Shadow gets nailed by a rock there.
I wonder if Shadow went in there. I wonder if he knows that the old man can heal him. That's not actually something that you would necessarily know without seeing it yourself. And you could. Oh no, he does. Okay, because he went in there first, so I thought he was going to go talk to him to heal. But there we go. Never mind, he does. Yeah,
thankfully there, once you unlock free the old man there, that unlocks his house as a starting point there. So it's not that big of a time loss there, but it's still annoying. Meanwhile, Shadow is going to pick up those silver arrows. Did he even check the torch room? He may not. He may just be stymied here. And Spectacle Rock Cave only has 20 rupees inside of it there, meaning that there's nothing on Death Mountain there. So it's back to Castle Tower.
Yeah, I honestly, looking at this scene, knowing what I know about this version of the randomizer and most versions of the randomizer, I would have probably gone to Aghanim instead of Desert, but that's because I'm allergic to pendants.
Oh, and it looks like Clifford has stolen a key from the boss area of Desert Palace and is going to check those items on the right side. Now, for those of you who do not know there, normally you would just need to get the gloves from the big chest inside of Desert to be able to access that area in the first place there. But if you go into there and grab a key, already having the gloves to get in there, you can get into this room where you otherwise would not be able to.
Oh, nope. Is it going to be a bid key, though? What if it was the bid? Oh, no, it can't be. What if it was the boots? No, it's not. How cool would that have been?
That would have been a big play if that was the case there. But a heart container is still useful, but not what we're looking for.
It couldn't be the boots. No, couldn't have been the boots. I was just excited.
Oh, right there. You wouldn't be able to get that small key otherwise without getting the boots from
Whoops, yeah.
the boots to get the big key off the ledge, or off the torch, I should say. Now, thankfully, you cannot soft lock yourself by stealing that key early, but it does take some time to go and check that there. So it's a 50-50 play there. Now it looks like Shadow's just cleaning up his light world scouring for items there, and is going to be doing the fake flippers glitch as well to get into the water without the flippers.
Yep. Yeah, this really did feel like an Adrenum seed the moment we got the sword. The reason being that we have access to a bunch of items in Pod, and actually, with the items we currently have, that's it. When they enter Dark World, the only thing that they can do is go to Pod. But they can get every single item in Pod except for the boss.
Pretty much the rest of the Dark World is locked behind either the hookshot or the hammer.
Yeah, or the other glove. This is a very interesting seed. They can also find flippers. That is another one. They can go to Catfish as well with their current items, but they cannot access the west side of Dark World. Oh, lost the fake foot. So it's going to be a little bit slower go for Shadow.
And we only have triple bombs on the Zora ledge, so after he checks here what Zora has for that part container there, he won't need to come back here again. Which will be good there. It is a long trek up here. But we've got Clifford saving and quitting back to Link's house there. Looks like he has made the play to go for Aghanim. So this is indeed the way forward there, and looks like Clifford's the first one to make that play. But it looks like Shadow is not far behind, coming to the same conclusion himself after pretty much clearing everything you could possibly do from the light world there. Yeah, the Hyrule Castle is the only place left, and with that Master Sword, you can break through the seal, go up through the mini gauntlet, and take down the Wizard round 1. Now, unlike in Key Sanity there, the chest in here can't have anything, can only have the keys to move forward through it there. But even so, it is what we need to do, and we'll see how many blue balls we get in the fight there, although this will be standard for both runners. Now, one nice thing is that with the silver arrows here, those golden ball and chain knights take much shorter time to take out there, because they can be a pain otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Fire Rod and the silver arrows, though, make this place pretty trivial. Although their health is... Clifford's health is good, but not Shadow's is about what you'd expect in a normal speedrun.
Yeah, they're about, what, 1-2 heart containers different?
Sorry?
Their health is about 1 or 2 heart containers different from each other, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not 100% sure where that came from, but...
Oh, I believe that's because Clifford managed to steal the key in Desert and grab that extra heart container from the east side of Desert.
But honestly, this is just a very vanilla Adder Tower climb. Silvers make some of these rooms less so, but the Master Sword is what you'd expect. You wouldn't really have these extra long-range weapons, though, so those do help quite a bit.
Especially on these long, narrow hallways there, where you can easily fall off the edge if something so much as bumps you.
Yep. And
but Clifford is...
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, on to Aghanim. So, in NMG, normally with these runners being so close, I'd have to bring up the fact that Aghanim could give one of them 10 to 15 blue balls and completely ruin their day. Okay, there are some hearts he can get here. He needs to be very careful. Shadow.
Yeah.
There's a heart
he has
actually
to
in the
farm
back.
those
Yeah.
pods.
Oh no, there's one more heart you can get. Back, the left side bottom. That one has a heart too. Just have to be careful in this last hallway here, not to fall. Now you can never get hit by a blue ball. If you are basically if you're standing to the left or right of Adrenum. So as long as you stand to the left or right and fairly close to Adrenum, you'll never get hit. Don't stand too close, they will shock you though.
No, that will ruin your day there. But yeah. So aside from where he positions there and the amount of blue balls he fires, this fight is a fairly simple one to do. And Clifford is the first to take Aga 1 down there at 35 minutes into the seed, giving us Dark World access for the first time. Now, with this there, they'll be able to check what item is on the pyramid there, although it looks like Clifford takes one floor too many. Has to walk back up to check.
I think Clifford actually has recently started looking into learning, or has been learning. What was that? Was that the cane? No, it wasn't. It was Red Rupee then.
I guess it was Red Rupee there. I only got a brief glimpse of it.
Okay, so he did start NMGN, so that does make sense. So he was a little bit of a he kind of spaced out there and just jumped down the pyramid like you would to go to pod. He literally should just be doing this as if it's NMG right now. That would be the best way to go about it.
Pretty much vanilla at this point there. Dark World straight to pod. There's not much else you can do.
Yeah. Now, if somebody wanted to get spicy, they could go to Catfish. But it's a crystal dungeon. The chance of the hammer being there right now is pretty good, actually.
Yeah, this is you could possibly get the hook shot to give yourself access to the west side of Dark World there. But other than that, I mean, what other progression items can you really get? Now, we're also seeing that the red crystals are in Swamp Palace and also in Misery Mire there. So to be able to get the big bomb to open up the Pyramid Fairy room and those two chests there, that's what we are going to be looking for. Whether or not that comes into play, that we will see there. But it looks like Shadow is making that play for Catfish to sort of differentiate their paths.
Mad. He's mad.
He's mad, I say. But who knows, it could pay off. But if not, it's a long trek back up the pod.
Oh, I almost forgot the rock. It's not that one. He'll just save and quit. Because he'll save and quit to the... No, not without mirror. Oh. Yeah, it'll be a little bit of a trek back. And it's just a heart. That's not... No, it's not... Oh, he's gonna walk back. Nope. He realized his mistake.
Go to Link's house, up to the new portal at the Hyrule Castle entrance, and then trek straight over to Palace of Darkness.
The most interesting item that could be in pod right now is actually the hook shot. And that's because it doesn't... it opens up both Death Mountain and the rest of Dark World. It just opens up the rest of Dark World in a way that forces you to commit. You basically are committed, if it's hookshot, to go through the entire Dark World overworld, starting at pod and looping around. And with the Fire Rod, you'd probably want to go to Skullblitz.
That is true there. I mean, with this Fire Rod in hand, you can just skip pretty much all of Skullblitz entirely and go straight to Mafula there. But yeah, you do need that hookshot first to be able to even get into that area. Now, one interesting, I mean, I know that as a beginner runner there, I've got stuck on being able to cross that river over into Dark World there with not having the hammer. But yeah, there is a small place there where you can hookshot over to that skull and get into the west side. And we have Shadow making his way through the Palace of Darkness exterior, heading over there, meeting Kiki the Monkey. And while Clifford continues the way through the interior of the dungeon, haven't found anything of interest just yet, but it's a big dungeon, there's still plenty more to find. Oh, and Shadow barely has enough rupees to pay Kiki, the monkey, to open up the door. Very good rupee management there.
Yeah, he is to be quite careful, because if he were to taking damage, he would have had to pay for the monkey again. Oh, Clifford did not have enough hearts to Death Warp, so he's decided he's faster. Just walk.
Interesting. I
Oh,
wonder
but
what the breakpoint that is.
You can warp in there? I don't know what the breakpoint of that is, but the spikes would take quite a bit to die to. So this isn't... It's probably about the same, honestly. He probably didn't lose too much time just walking back. But he should have done this half of the dungeon first. So...
Well, if you end up full clearing the dungeon, it's just a minor routing difference, if I'm not mistaken. But anyhow.
Now let's see how much NMG he knows. Is he gonna hammer Yump here?
He could hammer.
No, he doesn't even have the. He doesn't even have the. He doesn't have the big key even. So that would be a mediocre idea.
Yeah. Well, now he has the big key.
Well, I mean, but he needs to get the other chest anyway. So if he's on this side. So he'll probably, so if he was reading the Discord earlier, he might be skipping, taking some key logic into account and skipping Harmless Hellway. And there's the gloves! Oh boy, that's, that means he's gonna have to go back to the other side of Dark World.
Interesting. Yeah, with that you can go, well, you can get a lot of things, to be honest there. But that, oh, and get the flute as well!
Oh, you go to Village of Outcasts right away.
Pick up all those chests over in Village of Outcasts there, and then and then straight to, what would you say, Skullwoods there, or go to Misery Mire there. Now that you have the Titansmiths and the flute there, you can go that, and that is a red crystal as well.
Well, I definitely wouldn't go to Misery Mire, but I would absolutely go. I'd absolutely go to Skullwoods.
Now they have the Kingdom of Samaria.
Maybe no. I would go to. No, I would actually go to Misery Mire right away. 100%. I'd go to the Misery Mire area and check what the pendant is, or the requirement. Wow, what a dungeon!
House of Darkness is loaded today.
Oh, you know what? We're actually missing Boots and Hookshot. We can't get into it just yet.
Oh, that's right.
So definitely think Skullwoods is definitely still the play here. Skullwoods and Thieves Town both being crystals makes this just a meaty play.
Pretty much, and they're right next to each other, so you can just do them 1-2.
So fun fact for anyone who didn't know, the commentary had a commentary sign up sheet, and you had to answer questions. And one of the questions was a trick question, and it asked if you have all three medallions, the flute, the Titan's mitts, the lamp, and I think that's it. Yeah, so those items. Oh, and King of Samaria. What areas do you have access to? And it absolutely was trying to trick you into saying Mire. So not only did I fail that in the commentary, as I think as many people have, I failed it here too.
To be fair, it did say enter the dungeon and get one chest inside of it as well.
It did say. It's just I thought I'd point out the funny thing of that that is a common thing to trip up. I am almost hoping that Clifford walks into it. I hope that Clifford goes inside. It's the Quake medallion though, so no, he won't.
Nerds. Oh well.
I actually do still think that this is. I still think that this is correct. Checking Myers' hut, because man, finding all those items in that one dungeon really makes me think.
Yeah, it's pretty much just shouting you here. Have the Misery Mire care package. But no, after checking out that requirement and seeing that there's nothing inside of the mire to get, or the outside of the mire to get there, looks like Clifford is heading up to taking the flute over to Kakariko, and we'll be doing that double dungeon tour in this area.
And Shadow going through. He had to double check that he had the big key. That was kind of smart. Handing in his ill-gotten bottle for nothing in return.
Fire of Arrows is, well, it's pretty much nothing there, but it's still technically useful, I guess. Now, one thing is that Clifford does know that the pedestal is pretty much useless there, while Shadow does not there. Will that come into play in the upcoming section here? I mean, worst case scenario, they have the book there. Shadow could just check the pedestal just like Clifford did and be done with it. But we have Clifford heading into the first part of the Skull Woods area. And let's start clearing out the chests there, seeing what is in here. While you could just go mode it to Mothly as well.
Oh,
he
hey!
finds the boots!
Well, we just need some bacon. And we can do everything on the southwest side of the world.
Pretty much, yes.
Wow, this seed. Seed's very smooth. But
everything is right where we need it to be.
Well, you say that, but the seed with that Titan's Mitts opened up quite a bit. The moment we did that hook shot, or the mirror, it's going to open up even more. We still do need the hammer. Now, some good things about this seed is the hammer is one of those items you actually just don't want early, if possible. It opens up so many locations and dungeons. You just rather it just stay away and be your go mode. It's one of those items that you hope is your go mode item.
Pretty much there. On one of my first had to learn the hard way what items or what dungeons cannot be completed without the hammer. Oh, but Shadow finds the mirror inside the chess game.
Wow. So that's nice to find in the place that they're at right now. I don't like finding it late, but they've barely even touched the overworld, so that mirror is going to help them a lot. Specifically, they can now do very easily with the flute as well. There's a fetch quest that is made a lot easier. We are going to get to see Mothula, one of considered most people's hardest boss, other than the man himself. Just a very difficult fight, made even harder by the walk to get there. But
yes, that and having to conserve magic if you want to try and use fire shots on them there, yeah. And just the true damage spikes is also somewhat difficult. It goes along with the moving walkway.
Yep, the Dibdo hallway down for Clifford. I like his. Ooh. Okay. Now, one little thing is his B could be useful here if you really wanted it to.
You can indeed attack Mothula with the B if you let it out of its bottle now. It doesn't do all that much damage there, but even so, it helps.
It's a fighter sword damage. If it's the gold B, he'll just keep chugging along for you. I've seen people win this fight with the B. Shout outs to watching somebody casually play this game. I've seen a few people release the B.
Looks like he's at low health there. One more hit from the spike there, and he'll have to trek all the way back to Mothula there. But it shouldn't be too many more hits now. Oh, but he hugs the moth and goes down.
It's pretty rough. It takes 8 hits or fire rod shots to beat that boss. The B actually.
Is he
abandoning? Shadow forget? Oh no! Oh, I see what Shadow's doing. So, most people, yeah, he's abandoned. That actually is a good idea. He might have already had both items. I didn't. No, he did. He did have both items. So he's leaving for that reason. There's no item over there. So it's not going to affect his progression.
Aside from the crystal itself there, but it's a short trek back to Mothula, if whenever you do want to go and do that with a bit more supplies. Meanwhile, Shadow is taking the frog on the Hyrule World Tour, checking the caves south of Grove, only having found a heart container in the grove itself, and a piece of heart inside the cave.
So most people would return the smith and then take the chest this way, because you can bring the chest there.
Yeah, that is correct there. I mean, although having a frog trailing behind you is also a little bit cuter, but with minor differences.
You also dash with him, but he actually doesn't have the boots, so that doesn't matter.
Now, we do have a change in information there, because Shadow knows where the mirror is and has that in his possession, where Clifford has the boots. This will make some interesting divergence there. Looks like
Clifford is going to get the boots for sure. Or, sorry, the mirror, like, right away.
Pretty much. It has to be part of any of your daily Village of Outcast check there. And we're coming up on Hype Cave on Shadow's side. You can see what is in there.
Lots of money so far. And a shovel. So that's going to prompt a... No, he's not. Oh, no, it's not. I thought he was going to dash back then. Or he does have boots, so everything's a little bit longer for him.
That is correct there. Boots being one of those weird items there that could have something interesting, but you never know, and don't really want to go out of your way to go and check, unless you happen to be in the area anyway. All right, looks like Clifford is picking up the Frogsmith to be able to take him on their tour, or perhaps just deliver them and do the same with the chest. We'll have to see which option they go for. Oh, and that's right there. With the boots there, Clifford can pick up this the Tempered Sword, which will make, which is a very vast upgrade in terms of just pure damage there.
Oh, just 3 bombs from the dwarfs, but we don't know what the chest is going to hold. Usain Bolt trying to take another life. For those of you who don't know, that red guard in that screen is exceptionally fast. And the NMG community, because they have to deal with him every single time, has nicknamed him Usain Bolt. This is a quick explanation there. Sometimes I forget I am commentating Randomizer.
And it looks like Shadow's going to be checking out the grove as well.
This is going to determine if this was a hype cave or not. It was not. No, just more money.
$50. Not even electing to pick it up there. I mean, after having done pretty much all of the other money stuff in the game so far, money is more or less useless there, unless we are deciding to play retro mode there, where you can use money as arrows. But that is not the case here there, and Shadow is going to be taking his turn at Skullwoods and going to be finding those boots rather shortly.
Clifford doing what I expected to be done with. It's surprising that nobody has done Thieves Town, considering it's crystal and a very common place for items to hide out. Maybe trying to hope for the hammers, abandon the big chest.
You do want to be able to just do the whole thing all in one go if you can help it there. But, I mean, it is right there. You have to do it anyway. I don't think you should put it off for that long.
No. Shadow having a little bit of trouble with that guy there.
The bumper beetles can be especially annoying in these pitiful rooms. Apologies for the stupid pun. Alright, now that Clifford has done his Hyrule Grand Tour with the Smith and the chest there, where do they go next?
Well, he's going to check Bombos Tower for free.
That's a good idea.
I don't know why neither runner checked Thieves Town. It seems so obvious.
Almost Tablet only having 10 arrows there. Shadow is continuing his way through Skull Woods, and where does Clifford go next there? I mean, I would think Thieves Town there as well, but you with the mirror until you can do... No, you don't have the flippers. You can't do Swamp right now. I believe, is Thieves Town, outside of the Pendant Dungeons, the only place you can go right now?
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. Ether Tablet, but that's up on Death Mountain. You'd much rather have the hammer or hook shot while you next time you go there.
So pretty much we have to go through Thieves Town. Probably are going to be finding the hookshot in there somewhere, or the flippers perhaps there, and then going to the appropriate dungeon afterwards. If you find the hookshot, you unlock all of East Death Mountain there, and can also do go into Mire. Whereas if you find the flippers there, you can take an easy dip into Swamp Palace. But Shadow should be facing off against Mothula fairly soon. There are only a couple more rooms to go. Clifford checking out the grove to see what is buried under there. Unfortunately, we know it's only cash, but even so, you want to get that weight off your mind. I like to pick up the pocket cash. Who knows? It might be a useful potion down the line or something. We'll see. And Shadow is taking on Mothula right now with one spin slash there. And we'll see how well he can do at the spike dodging game. Oh, and I'm already there. Oh, and unfortunately is taken down as well. Mothula can just combo you down there if you run into him, run into the spikes, and get hit by his going for round 2. Going back through that little gauntlet of pain to take another round and see if he has any better luck. Luckily finds a fairy to be full up on hearts right out of the gate, but looks like Clifford is making his way over to Thieves Town as we suspected. We'll see which progression item lies in there because we're running out of other places it can possibly be. All right, and within the entry into Thieves Town, let's check the first 4 chests and find the big key right off the bat.
Yep, and I truly believe that this is the right play from Clifford. There are no items, as far as I can tell, left in Skull, so...
Not outside of just the crystal itself there, but, I mean, with all the trouble that Mothula's been giving our runners there, I don't blame them for putting off for later, because, well, it's a relatively quick trip back.
Yeah, you really want to watch out, and when you're in Dreamville, not get hit by Mothula himself, because he deals a ton of damage, twice as much as the spikes themselves.
Yeah, and Shadow is unable to take him down this time. They're going to have another go at it, perhaps, or going to try and perhaps find some more defenses. But yeah, with Mothula in the green mail there, it is, unless you're really good at navigating that that conveyor belt, then it's a pain in the butt there. And Shadow checks the pedestal while he was right at Skullwood, so a good routing decision, and knows that it is completely useless. Clifford almost gets the magic pixel to dash all the way through this hallway in one shot. Always nice when you can be able to do that.
Clifford checking the upstairs. Gonna have to do this to break open a hole in the ceiling.
Yeah, this is not Randomizer where all the bosses are shuffled and you don't even need to do this portion. But there's still a chest here. You want to come up here anyway, because if you don't, you definitely know that's going to be something required. Murphy's Law of Randomizer. Now, here's something there. Having not been going to Mire earlier there, Shadow is actually checking out the checkerboard cave there, whereas Clifford was not able to do so.
We'll see if this is important or not. It is not. That's a good sign for Clifford. Well, he'll probably check it again, but with the boots, all we need is the Quake, and that dungeon is available.
Pretty much there. All right, now Clifford is in the basement of Thieves' Town there. Only a few more chests to check there. We've coming upon the fake maiden's cell here. Oh, he doesn't check the chest inside of the inside of the cell there. Has he already found all? He can't have gotten all of the items in here yet.
No, he could have. He could very easily have. There are like 6 items, so he has already found them. Very good on skipping that.
Interesting there. But if blind doesn't have progression there, what could it be?
Plenty of places still. They haven't checked the mirror ledge above the graveyard. They haven't checked any of the boots locked locations. They haven't checked the boss of. They haven't checked Lemolis. They can go to Hera. No, and Hera and the tablet there.
Oh, the mirror does unlock a lot of stuff that you just normally wouldn't think about. Especially with that and the boots combined, unlocks a lot of things there. King's Tomb is also open as well. But Clifford takes down Blind and has the second crystal of his run there, taking a 2-to-1 crystal lead. Although Shadow is not that far behind them, only about 1 dungeon worth, roughly. Oh, and looks like Clifford is going for Mothula round 2.
Yeah, this makes sense. And this was probably his plan from the start. Try it once while he was there. If he dies, go back, go do another dungeon. When you have more health, when you have full health and mana from Thieves' Town.
Pretty much that free health and magic refill from taking down a boss does come in handy, definitely. And Shadow's picking up his second bottle as well there. Has both bottles contained bees so far? Now, I don't think anything is hinted at by Blind's pun there, but he does mention bugs there, which may perhaps have further incentivize them to go here. But since we've pretty much found everything of use inside of Skullwoods already there, once we take down the crystal, or take down Mafia and get the crystal there, it's just a bunch of one-off locations to check to find out where that next progression item would be it hammer or flippers, or I think those are or hook shot or what.
Well, I mean, Death Mountain is a healthy 3 locations. It's just it's a pendant, so they probably don't want to go there. They also fate flip to ice if they really wanted to gamble. And that is actually something that's open to them, is the fate flip to ice. Now, that's not guaranteed to hold anything.
Yeah, since the logic does not intend for you to go to Ice Palace just as of yet there, anything you can get in there would be sequence breaking there. But if you find something early that you wouldn't get otherwise there, it definitely could give you a boost, although it is a gamble.
Well, on top of that, doing such a heavy sequence break like that will also, if you were to find, say, the hammer there, you know that the flippers are not in a hammer-locked location.
And that would cut out a lot of the chests and other locations out of the your search pool.
Now, if you found the hammer there, you would ironically, once you might actually flip the seed. You would actually want to, in that case, for the hammer specifically, avoid literally every hammer location. Clifford, though, actually has 3 locations to check here, to the west here, and then the 2 Bonk Rock locations and the Mirror Ledge here.
You can pretty much clear out all the graveyard area in general, I believe.
Yep, that's what he'll be doing. 2 Bonk Rocks and the 1 item above the ledge, or on the ledge.
The first Bonk Rock's just having a piece of heart, but being able to check out the King's Tomb there in the Graveyard Ledge, we'll see what they have in store. Meanwhile, Shadow is taking on Blind, is already in the second phase there. Blind takes 9 hits no matter what there, but the main thing is just dodging all the fireball spam that he shoots at you, and he unfortunately goes down. Blind can be a pain there, just dodging the sheer amounts of projectiles that he throws at you. Nothing in the Graveyard Ledge there, so is there something in King's Tomb, or do we go to, elsewhere? Oh, there's a good point. We can't really complete much of Ice Palace without the hammer as well. Can't get to the boss at the very least. Oh, but Clifford finds the Quake Medallion there. Now we can get into Misery Mire.
We actually complete Misery Mire now. So that is definitely the play.
And with a lot of chests in there, yeah, I would definitely agree with you there. Kane to get that one switch there, and everything else is... Yeah, they have the boots, so they can just bonk across that ledge now.
Mm-hmm. Very, very, very good find.
And Clifford electing to check out the checkerboard cave first there. It's going to be a little bit disappointed by what he finds there, but at least that's off his mind. And after you complete Mire there, you are in the Dark World equivalent of Desert, so you can just go there and complete it if you want to check out what else is in Desert. And in fact, he decides to do so. And it looks like Clifford is deciding to check what's inside that big key chest inside of Desert Palace.
He's going to find that it is a small key that will lead him to a heart. Can't remember. No, he actually did this sequence break, I believe. He was the one who sequence broke it. So he may be opting to kill and Molus first and then do Mire.
But haven't they found everything in Desert so far, or is there still one item left?
Still one item left. He's going to do Mire first.
Fair enough there. It's pretty much close to each other.
He may also be near that crystal so that later on he doesn't suddenly forget.
Meanwhile, Shadow's taking on Mafia again, is doing a better job at dodging all the spike spam there, and takes down Mafia there. Another item out of the way, another crystal, and a full health refill. Meanwhile, Clifford is in Mire, taking down that first enemy room there, and is heading into the main lobby there. We'll see which path you go will take you through here, the easiest, and take you to what we need to find next. Now, what could we find? We still need to find the flippers. We still need to find the hook shot. We still need to find the hammer. What else could we find in Mire that would take continue us forward there?
Lots that we could find here. We are. This is really turning into like Last Dungeon, just like you do everything, you find a new item. You do everything, you find a new item. Clifford seems to be shaking that a little bit. Shadow less so.
This is, by judging by all appearances, to be a rather linear seed, but we'll see where we can go. Clifford picking up another key. If I'm not mistaken there, if you have good key usage there, none of the key doors are strictly required, if I'm not mistaken there, but it makes navigating the place a whole lot easier for sure. Alright, you're finding a piece of heart inside the big key or that chest there. That's one of the items in the mire off the list. Let's see what's inside the costume chest.
The vanilla big key chest. There's actually, if you look at the logic, there's actually a way to tell what's in there sometimes. If the bid key is, I believe it's if the bid key is in the torch chest, there has to be a small key in this chest for some reason that I can't remember. It might be the other way around, that there's always a small, if there's a small key, it's always the bid key, but
it's probably some kind of key lock scenario.
Yeah, it's something just to prevent a key lock, and then I can't remember the exact things about.
All right, well, Shadow is taking another stab at blind. We'll see how that goes. It's not that long of a walk back, thankfully, there. And Clifford is heading into the east side of Misery Mire. Going to check out these chests. Finds the big key, so we will be able to get into the to the big chest, which is right over here.
Yep. Now he has to do the way to do it in the No Major Glitches route, which is to dash and do that. Well, the No Major Glitches Gold Swords, Silver Arrows route.
Indeed, yeah. And if you're not quick there, you can just get left behind by that ledge, but he makes it through with no problems at all. Meanwhile there, Shadow is ticking on blind, is on to phase 2 with a good amount of health left there, and has made it through phase 2 and just has to do a little bit more of dodge ball, or dodge fireball in this case, and he should be doing 1, 2, and 3 hits, and down blind goes. Good job, Shadow.
Clifford, though, will be moving on to his 4th crystal here.
Yeah, you're down into the dark section of Misery Mire there. Another area where that early lamp does come in handy there for anyone who doesn't know how to do dark rooms without the lantern there. This could be quite the ordeal to make it through.
Yeah, it's the first room that's the real problem. Every other room is pretty easy. As long as you are able to damage boost through the spikes.
Alright, so we've got Shadow doing more dark world clearing, or dark overworld clearing, I should say. Hopefully they will find, with having unlocked the boots and the Titan's mitts, should be able to find that Quake medallion soon and try and catch up to Clifford there, who is heading into Vitreous right as we speak. Now, with the silver arrows there, Vitreous is an absolute and complete joke there. Each arrow can take down.
I wouldn't go that far. It's definitely not a joke. Like these arrows will tail him. in one shot. He's not using them. What is? See, this is not an easy fight.
This is true. He is a bit low on health there, and can be forced to take the long way back if he gets taken down there. But the arrows do one-shot the eyeballs, which makes things a lot easier.
So laser beams that you really got to be cautious about. But luckily, once you get past that phase, the first phase, it is quite simple. And there's the cape. Now, that doesn't necessarily open up anything, but it is our first invincibility item. So it might be a clue that the hammer is close by, making the spike cave available.
Have we checked Bumper Cave Ledge yet? I don't remember what that was. Was that just 20 rupees?
Yes.
All right, looks like Clifford's gonna try and do the quick walk to Land Moles and take that down there. Finds the exact positioning to not even having to bother picking up those rocks. Meanwhile, Shadow is checking King's tomb there. As soon as he finds a place to park his luggage, at least.
So
here in King's tomb there, he will find the quick medallion and will be back on the logical path now.
Yeah, now Clifford checking here, there is an item here. So it's going to be very interesting to see if Lambolis, after all, had the progression we are looking for. Just made it very difficult to get to him.
Yeah, having to find get the boots in that random location in Skullwoods. And here we begin to fight against this three-headed snake there. Now with the fire rod, you can get the quick kill fairly easily there. Although running out of magic might make that a little bit harder there. But with the tempered sword, that should be the finishing blow. Down goes Landmolus there. And on him, we have the blue mail. Very useful there. We got some rage slashes, unfortunately.
So it looks like Hera will be the answer here.
Pretty much there. It is also a pendant dungeon there, but still has a few items in there that still needs searching.
Hasn't checked Ice Rock Cave.
Well, thankfully with the flute, this is just a short hop, skip, and jump away there. Ends up not being anything in there by my recollection there. But now we have Shadow85 entering in Mire. I don't believe there's anything of interest in Mire itself there, but it's still required as it is a crystal dungeon. Alright, so we've got, it looks like Clifford is heading straight up the Hera there. We'll hopefully find one of our 3 mystery items that will give us our progression. Now, I didn't see what was on top of Spectacle Rock there, but it was just we just had Clifford the Big Red 20. But we can also check Ether Tablet now, which is a nice thing to do while we're here there, and gets an arrow upgrade. Oh, and Shadow takes a death to the spike floor inside trying to get to that chest. Oh, that's unfortunate. But it's not that deep into the dungeon, so it could be worse, I guess.
And moving along. Oh, Vanilla Swamp Tea. It's always neat. So you don't stop to pick it up.
Oh, and there we have the hook shot inside of Hera there, and Clifford is making a is jetting
Wow.
out of there, not even having to go and
Yep.
deal with
No,
a
that's
Moldorm
the
at
threat.
all.
Yeah, that's the threats play. Just leaving. Do not do basement. Do not do basement of Pendant Hera. No, 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 no.
And with that hook shot, we can now access the east side of Dark Mountain and the treasure trove of chests that are in there as well. Paradox Cave being the majority of them, of course.
No, we actually have 15 chests. Paradox Cave is only half of the chests we'll have access to.
Oh, that's right. We have Hookshot Cave as well to go through, and that's another 4 right there.
Yeah, and with the mirror, the route in here is very nice. So that was the absolute best item to find. This play, if he finds, so we need the hook shot, we need the ice rod, we need
we have Hookshot now.
the flippers. Sorry, I meant the flippers. We need the ice rod and we need the hammer.
Speaking of,
there's the ice rod. So there's one of the 3 items we're looking for. Now it's just down to the hammer and the flippers. Now there is also the side of possibly ether, but we'll find that out momentarily. Turtle Rock could be open to our runners, and with the way that this seed has kind of led us dungeon to dungeon, I think that's probably where... Oh no, we need the hammer to go there, so... But we're one step closer.
We find red mail and half magic inside of Paradox Cave.
Wow, very kind cave. Yeah, very, very kind cave. Now, normally you'd want to do a bomb jump there to save a little bit of time, but in this case, we're just going to take this mirror and we're going to enter the other cave that will lead us up the mountain into the Dark World stuff.
That's right there. We can get to what's known as a Super Bunny Cave there, and we should be able to check Spiral Mountain afterwards. Or Spiral Cave, I should say. Now, after we clear out, if there ends up being nothing else here in Death Mountain there, well, there has to be something, otherwise we won't be able to access any of the other dungeons, I don't think. Yeah, we find powder. That could be an interesting check in and of itself.
We actually do really need the hammer to do anything. Like I said earlier, the hammer is the exact item you want to have for your go mode. It locks the most amount of things. Now this is going to be the answer. Are we looking for... We are not. Nope. We just need the hammer and we need the flippers. So we now know that we're 2 items away from go mode.
I've got a big 20 on the floating island there. Nothing to see there. Can get into the Hookshot Cave. Check out everything there. But yeah, I mean, the hammer does lock so many places that you would forget about there. There's a place in Swamp House where you need the hammer that you don't normally think of there. Palace of Darkness is self-explanatory there. Ice Palace has those random diglet things at the very end there. You can easily forget about those. And of course, you can't even enter Turtle Rock without the hammer. Oh, but they find the butter sword.
Nice golden sword, yeah.
It's only a relatively small increase over the tempered sword in terms of just pure damage and being able to do things that much faster, but finding it just a standard check, that makes things a lot easier. But now Clifford gets to do the Spiral Cave in the stylish fashion, assuming that this jellyfish de-electrifies. Oh, but meanwhile, Shadow continuing to have troubles inside of Misery Mire. That is unfortunate there, but yeah, we'll be able to get through it eventually.
Interesting that there is 1 item left in Hera. So, if that item is important, that's going to be a scary thing. Now,
yeah, that hookshot could be a fake, sort of a fake out.
Yeah, but it's not the wrong play. It's not the wrong play at all. Catfish, it looks like, is where we're going.
Yeah, I would agree.
So at this point, the hammer is in Hera which would completely turn this race around. Like it would give Shadow so much if he were to stay there and found it. Alternatively, it could be in. Wait, no. You know what? I think something has to be at the top of Hera or in the Spike. No, it has to be top of Hera.
That's pretty much the only location they have left at this point.
Because everything else is out logically.
Can't be an Ice Palace. That's Flipper's Lock there. Can't be in Spike Cave there. You need the hammer to get in there in the first place.
Oh no! I think he has to go back up there. So he can't Spike Cave. Oh, when he never checked the light, so he's probably a little bit worried. He realized it too, forgetting that he loses the Fate Flip.
Oh yeah, but there's only 3 bombs in there.
Yeah,
thankfully, it's just a short check, but even so.
I'm not sure what the best idea is now here. I think it's go back to Hera. Hera has to have something.
It's pretty much.
Oh, did he check the? Oh, nope. There's also. He almost went down to check powder. There's a few small things, I'm sure, but the main thing is top of Hera now.
Has he not checked out the big chest in Thieves? Oh, sorry, in Skullwoods?
Magic. No, we already have 2 items.
Magic Bat. We just got the powder. We have to check magic. Yep. No, we can't. We don't have the hammer.
No, you can check it with the mirror.
Oh, that's right. There, you can just mirror over to the spot and.
Yep.
Oh, we'll see how that works.
You just have to
mirror you just find the right spot. Yep.
Yeah. I saw the right spot. There's quite a big section up here that you can check if you're worried about bonking on anything. You can just go up into the top right corner. But this is probably the progression. Otherwise, you're gonna have to go back to Hera and feel very silly. Not really. He won't feel silly. He'll just feel blah about it. And it's in the top. It's Hera. Oh man, he is gonna be feeling the heat right now, I think.
And Shadow takes down Vitreous there. So depending on what order that he goes in there, he may be able to catch up here.
Yep. Looks like he's gonna go to the desert.
At the front.
Looks like he's gonna go to desert. So he's doing the same thing Clifford did.
The question becomes on if he decides to just jet after finding that hook shot, or complete the rest of the crystal dungeon there.
Well, I mean,
Moldorm faking you out from the very bottom of the tower.
So that's unfortunate because it's only one. So we're gonna hope it's flippers, sort of. If it's the hammer, then the flippers can be almost anywhere. The flippers just suddenly get a bunch of places that they can be. If it is the flippers, though, the hammer can only be in the first few chests of ice. Under very strange circumstances, it can be on cold stare. If the big key is in the first chest and there's 2 small keys, I think that it can actually be there. Oh no, it can't be. Because cold stare, I always forget about cold stare having hammer pets.
Yep, pretty much.
But it can be in the first few chests of ice balls, or the one chest in swamp.
Which chest in swamp?
The chest,
once you get the flippers,
yep,
you're right.
Right after you bomb it. So this is going to be the bid key, 100%. Vanilla bid key location.
Now, going up the tower there's only the Moldorm and the big chest itself as remaining locations, correct?
Nope, there's one other chest.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
So it can be in any of those. It can be the bomb jump, the chest before the bomb jump, or Moldorm himself. With the items that they currently have, the bomb jump is quite easy. You have a 6 pixel window. Now it's really going to depend on what Shadow does. If he goes all the way up and he finds the hammer If it's the hammer, that's his best case. It's the hammer. That is Shadow's best case if he stays. So now Clifford has a lot of options. He's looking to go to Turtle Rock, it seems.
I mean, yeah, he's got both rods. He's got the cane of Samaria. You're here already. Do you really want to make another trip up Death Mountain?
Probably not. It's about a minute time loss. So so in this case, you really want the flippers to just be here. Since this dungeon is so close, full clear versus not, and sometimes you have to full clear it just to beat it. So
pretty much, it's segmented in a lot of different ways. Oh, we have Shadow going into Hair there. We'll see once they find the hook shot. Where do they go from there? Or do they fall prey to the same trick that befell Clifford?
No, he's going. Yeah. No. He's menu into his mirror. Nope, he's fallen into the same trick.
It is a very insidious trick, I must admit, though. Because, I mean, honestly, the Siren's Call of that many chests on east side of Death Mountain there, how can you not resist?
Yeah, there are 15 chests, so this is actually, honestly, the correct play. 100%. This is the correct play. And you can, in fact, make correct plays in a randomizer.
Yeah, I was like, this is logically the best thing to do there, even if it's not what the game wants you to do. But yeah, from just statistically probable things here, that's the right play, as you're saying. On the other hand, Shadow is going to pick up his treasure trove of things here from the Paradox Cave. All right, now we can head over to the other side of Turtle Rock there. Now with Red Mail and Golden Sword and 16 hearts there, they should make pretty quick work of it there. Coming in Turtle Rock early is always a tricky proposition at the best there. But equipped as he is there, this should not be terribly hard.
Oh. Cliff juking them. Now, chain chomps. There we go.
The chain chomps do not want to heal. They want to bite your butt. Chain chomps, the one minion of Ganon's that when Ganon ran out of funds and had to borrow enemies from Bowser.
I don't know if you realize this, but we're in a location called Turtle Rock with a lot of pipes and multi-segmented cactus enemies and a giant turtle dragon at the end of it.
Okay,
so
you're
I'm
not wrong.
not sure if it's so much Bowser lending his minions to Ganon as Bowser is actually a minion of Ganon.
Layers
I always point this out. This is straight up Bowser's castle.
It's got lava on it and everything.
Yeah, no, it really is. This is a giant. I point out every time somebody's like, "Man, about something about Bowser." I'm like, "No, seriously, this is Bowser's castle." It's a very, very long.
They're actually secretly teaming up to take down their respective enemies.
Also, old Nintendo was very much in on the minor cameos all over the place. That was quite common.
And always greatly appreciated as well.
Yeah, the old the American version of Final Fantasy had a tombstone. I mean, this game has a picture of Mario in it, so there's a house with a picture of Mario, and if you pull it, you get 80 rupees.
This is true, yeah. I mean, there's also the Final Fantasy references in Super
Yep.
Mario RPG too.
Well, I mean that entire game is that's what that game was. It was a crossover. But
Well, yes, true. But I digress.
the better one is actually the final. There's a tombstone in Elfheim that says that is a tombstone to Link in the American version of Final Fantasy 1. So,
And
there's the flippers. We are in go mode.
Yes.
Yeah, there's our go mode. Okay, we are in there.
And that also gives a whopping, 2.5 dungeons to go mode in. So that's going to be a good time save. Although I would imagine that both runners would be taking the same path, given what we've seen so far.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Shadow might go back to Hera first. I'm not sure, man. That Hera hook shot though was that Hera having hook shot and hammer was nuts. That's just crazy, and with especially just like the fact that hook shot opens up so much for you.
It is just one giant bait. Yes.
Clifford taking a very long way around. I'm not sure if that's because he missed an input. Shadow not 100%. Just kind of thinking, wait, I didn't get any progression from Death Mountain. What? And he now realizes that he has to go back to Hera. Now the thing is some people are very religious about their attempts at keeping Turtle Rock to last.
It does make riding a whole lot easier if you can go from Turtle Rock straight to Ganon's Tower, but...
Yeah, but the time loss is only about a minute to do it. And the time to full clear a bunch of other dungeons is a lot more than 1 minute.
This is true, yes.
I'm hoping that Shadow doesn't go to Ice or try to finish up Pod. Or Spike Cave. But he's looking for a fairy. There's a fairy that you can get there pretty consistently.
Pretty much there.
In the 4 cardinal, in the up, down, left, right directions, you can always get you can get a fairy sometimes. The diagonal ones do not drop anything. Ooh, gets the double hit, and there it is.
Yeah, takes down the last phase of Trinex, no problem as well. And Shadow, is returning back to Hera in a relatively short time. We'll see how much time this saves him. Because meanwhile, Clifford went and checked a bunch of other things in the meantime as well, checking out the magic bat most noticeably. Yes, I believe Clifford is in go mode there. All the other items are not required.
Yeah, so go mode being what happens when our runners have found all required items for the seed to be able to proceed to Ganon's Tower. In this case, we have already done everything in Pod except for the boss, so that will be a really quick recheck. Now, what we are currently missing, actually, is Swamp. And Swamp Go Mode is not only very quick, but it is approximately 8 minutes faster than full clearing it. Which is why
it's important, yes, because you don't have to check that left side of Swamp, because you already have the hookshot going into it and you can go straight from that big lobby right to the final stretch.
I mean, you don't have to do anything. It's you have to check the chest to the south. You have to check anything. Yeah, they have silvers. They have golden sword. They have blue mail. Oh, they'll get the red mail, I believe, on the way in Turtle Rock. So we won't even be checking the side chests like we might normally.
Pretty much there. I mean, Clifford already has red mail, but yeah, Clifford is heading right into the boss approach. Meanwhile, Shadow is going to be heading into the... or did he already get it when I was...
He got the hammer, yep.
Okay, there we go.
The hammer is in the first. You don't have to do anything else. He was just thinking. I think it took him a little bit to think. Is he going straight to Turtle Rock as well? No, he's actually at Spike Cave. That is not Ron. That is not Ron at all.
I mean, you're here already there. It's not that much of a time loss there to check it there. And it is a out-of-the-way area that you don't really want to come back and check if you can avoid it.
With his hearts, he can actually check this without using anything. Well, maybe not if he misses a hook shot like that.
Pretty much, I think you need like 11, 13 hearts to tank it fully.
You need about 12 or 13, and that's with optimal. I think you can do it less with like very optimal like movement. There's a Kaizo randomizer hack that you can, or Kaizo randomizer plando that you can play that requires some crazy stuff. I think Hookshot is one of them. I believe if you want to try that one was made by Christos. So if you really want a challenging randomizer run to do.
Now I'm pondering the concept of a heart container being a go mode item. On the other hand, do we really want to give I Have No Names more ideas? Alright, and Helmosaur King goes down, like... there's probably some clever announcement.
Oh,
but
Shadow!
Right now.
Shadow is doing the other dungeons. Hopefully it won't go to ice.
Oh dear. Well, hold on there. What does... Shadow has pretty much almost caught up with Clifford, though, hasn't he? Or what does he not have at the moment?
He needs the flippers in Turtle Rock.
Oh, he needs the flippers there.
If he does all of ice, then... Well, no, he wouldn't, because he does... Never mind, he wouldn't. So this is the only place that you can logically check. He would have to be not thinking straight, like apparently I'm not, after watching so many seeds today.
Yeah, do all start to blur together. Yes, this is true. But thankfully, you can pretty much go mode this... Because he's already pretty much cleaned out most everything so far anyway, though, correct? Yeah, he's going straight for Helmosaur King as well. So after this there, he can... Well, he'll have to make another climb up Death Mountain to get to Turtle Rock there, but... So, it's still about a dungeon and a half behind. But, I mean, who knows what could happen there? We could have some hard time in some of the... In Ice Palace, so that is some tricky execution right there. Alright, Ice Palace is a pendant. What am I thinking? You don't even need to go there. You just need to go to Swamp, which he's at right now, and it can go straight to Ganon Sour. But, I mean, it's still anyone's game there, although Clifford does have a big lead there. If the worst were to happen there, Shadow could catch back up. But we've got Shadow heading into the final approach to Helmosaur King right now. Hammer in tow, being ready to place Blacksmith to Helmosaur's mask.
Mm-hmm. They bust pretty easy with the equipment that they currently have. It's actually only 2 Tempered Sword spins. Oh, gets sniped by a fireball. If you break his shield while he has the fireball out, it'll actually despawn the fireballs. So if you see that,
strat, yeah.
Well, if you're at 16 and you see that he stopped and opened his mouth, you actually want to wait till he shoots out his fireball. It also only takes 1 silver shot. You want to shoot his face with the silver arrows, make that a lot easier. But if he's about to shoot out a fireball and you are 15 or 16 shots in, if you're counting, you can actually break it and you'll despawn the fireball every time.
That is correct there, yes. Now, part of me has always wondered there, what is it about bosses and having explosive tails that act like fuse to detonate the main body there? This is always a thing, and it's always puzzled me.
I'm not sure, but it's they do it in all the games at this point. I think they always start exploding, and then their head's the last thing to go. That's been a thing. Probably this game, I think, started it. I think that everything in in Zelda 1 and 2 just kind of puffed away.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's actually, honestly, I didn't notice as much, but a lot of commentators point out the hilariousness of them exploding so much. I never really noticed it until Wind Waker, where like everything exploded in that glorious cel-shaded puffs, which is still my favorite thing.
Does look pretty stylish.
But we are seeing a artist fight done with the golden sword, which is extremely quick. It's gonna be very easy. I wonder if he's gonna just opt for 2 cycling him, or if he's going to go for a 1 cycle in last phase. He is pulling out his fire rod, so he might be trying the fire rod strat here. Oh, what?
Oh, misses the shot.
No, that was weird.
No, just stand above him. 2 fire shots, 1 spin. There you go.
Well, yeah, but the problem there was that artist had dropped way earlier than normal.
That's true. And we get the mushroom from Argus there, which we have no use for whatsoever, given that we have everything we could possibly want.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we've got Shadow shaking hammer pegs there. Probably nothing to be found here, unfortunately. And it does not want to make that trek back up to Turtle Rock, it looks like. But with that there, we are headed to Ganon's Tower, ladies and gentlemen. There we are going to have the second showdown with Aghanim, and we will face down against the Big Pig. That is all that Clifford has left to do. And also navigate the Dead Rocks, but that's always something it's hard to do no matter what.
So there are 22 chests in Ganon's Tower. You can guess any number between 1 and 22 in the chat. Somewhat of a tradition. There are 22 chests in the basement, and it's dependent on the order. The chests aren't numbered specifically. It just depends on where they pick it up.
We'll see which one has the Ganon Tower big key in it there, and if you guess correctly there, well, you can earn a very big sense of accomplishment. Personally, I like 14 because I like multiples of 7, but that's just me. Pick whichever number appeals to you the most. Interestingly, both runners are on Death Mountain, but going to different places there. Shadow's going to have to take 1 extra trip up to the top of Death Mountain again, before he finishes Turtle Rock and having to head back down to Swamp House there. But Clifford is now inside of Ganon's Tower, is heading over to the east side to pick up those 2 chests. At the beginning, might go for Tile Room, but I'm guessing not, to be honest.
Nope,
First chest, piece of heart.
He's actually probably feeling somewhat behind. He says now we're going to have to go left side. So there are really only 3 viable ways to do Ganon's Tower, and they've distinct good and bad sides to them. The most basic one is in the original spring tournament. So the first one last year, everyone would just would grab the 2 chests on the right, go to the left, and they'd just do that every time. They go all the way to Ice Armos and then check the 4 chests. Now, if you're very confident on your skills of doing the right side, and you find a key, you can do that. The reason why I say confident with your skills is because the room to get to the next 4 chests is hard, but it is faster to check those 6 chests than it is to check these 4. There's another one that balances it out a bit, called Dark Magician strats, where similar to doing left side, you just skip the first 2 chests. So what you do is you go to the Stealthos room with the 4 chests, Then you mirror, so you don't have to kill the Stealthos. Then you do all of right side, sometimes all the way to Ice Armos, and that lets you check the most amount of chests in the run. Or you check the most, it's the best chests per minute at the start, but you check the last left side chests a lot slower. So if it's, the big key is in the Fire Bar room, the Fire Snake room, or the Rando room, you lose time. The other one that has gone more common since the open one is the right side strat, where you check the first 6 chests on the right side. That's by far the fastest chests per minute, but if it's on the left side, you lose to every other strat. So there's a lot of different ways, and it really just depends on your comfort level with GT.
Pretty much, yeah. All right, speaking of the Rando room, we're heading into there. We've got 9 chests down already. Stepping on the exploding switch, find the Ether Medallion. Nice, but no. More stuff there. So, nope, not in this side of things there. So that's chests 10 through 13, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so Shadow is now going to be getting his flipper shortly, but unfortunately, still has to do Swamp, so...
That is correct there. Alright, gonna doing the bonk strat to cross the invisible gap. Much easier than doing the whole invisible walkway puzzle. Chest number 14 has the compass, nothing there.
And here we are. The Ice Armos, the first of 3 refights in this dungeon. 2 of which are forced. This one you sometimes won't do in Randomizer. It's basically just the Armos fight, but now you're on ice, so it's a little bit harder.
Finding the bug net. All the items that we don't really need right now.
Okay, well, it looks like it's either tile room or right side.
Those are chest number 14, 15, and 16, I think.
Nope, those would be chests 17 through 21. No, 18, 19, 20, 21, that's it.
No, sorry, I meant the ones that we just checked.
Oh, okay.
Skips tile room there. Well, it is a long time to do it there, so might as well
Nobody does tile. No one does tile. Well, some people do, but it's wrong. To check tile room. There are right and wrong plays.
Paranoia is.
Yeah, no, it's you are generally wasting time doing tile room first. Is a play that you can make if you really think that you're behind. Like if you really truly believe that your only way to win is if it's in tile room.
And there it is.
And we are mirroring out.
And now Clifford is in the goest of go modes. Gonna be making his way up the gauntlet there through the spiked mimic room there. Manipulating the mimics to get them in a convenient area. Gonna be sniping them in the face. Playing Ring Around the Rosie with the Beamos. So yeah, at this point there, Clifford seems to have it pretty much in the bag there. It would take a significant amount of Ganon falls or Trolldorm falls to be able for Shadow to catch back up there. Crazier things have happened there, but it's seemingly increasingly unlikely at this point.
Yeah, Clifford on top of that is an extremely good player at Randomizer. This has just been a crazy seed.
Yeah, it's definitely been very entertaining so far, so yes. But Clifford is making his way through the enemy gauntlet there, taking out these knights and dodging the BMOS there. A little bit low on health, but should still be able to make it through just fine there. And get the fairy at the end of the gauntlet to replenish his health a little bit. And a good fire snipe on that last one there. And makes it out. Gonna powder that fairy for the health refill and is going into the Land Mole 2 fight. Gets 2 of the Land Moles. And should make quick work of the 3rd there. Not getting the 1 cycle as he might have hoped there, but still a good fight overall.
And Silver Arrows is something you can actually do there. There's a pretty decent strat to get them in 1 cycle. Shadow taking the safety exit just in case.
Oh, interesting. Clifford does not get the block snipe on the 2 Wizrobes there. It's a minor inconvenience at worst there, but it's a nice trick to pull off there, as much as you can call it a trick. It still looks really cool, which is all that's important.
Well, interesting that we found the other cane on Laser Bridge.
Useful, I guess, but not entirely what we want there. Although he has found the flipper, so he is in pretty much go mode himself there. Alright, and Clifford is now in the Moldorm 2 fight there. With the Butter Sword, this should make quick work of him. Although would this be the Moldorm 1 fight, considering that we never saw him in the top of Harrow.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, and onward we go up to the Aga 2 fight after this last bumper and enemy room.
Yeah, this room is a little bit annoying. Oh, didn't switch. So one interesting tidbit is that while bosses are exploding, you can't actually access the pause menu. So on Trinets, that means that you have to switch rods before optimally for the boss fight. Now with his mail and his sword, he should be able to get through this last phase very quickly. We'll see if he gets the double spin or not. I think that was actually a poke and a spin, but that will be good enough to make the other slash count. The poke will be a tempered sword. The pokes are always 1 damage class under. Spins are always 1 damage class more. So spins from the golden sword actually don't do any extra damage because there's no class 5 for weapon types.
Alright, and Clifford takes down Aga 2 there. So with that, we will be heading on to the final hurdle in this race. Now the question is, how fast can you take down Ganon? Is a sub 2 feasible at this point, or is it just too late?
No, it's very possible. With a tempered sword fight, is about 1:40 to 2.5 minutes, depending on Ganon. So with Gold Master, like you'll be 1 cycling both phases, but he's only going to get to shoot 1 trident. And only 1 fire ring.
And with this much health, and also the invulnerable frames from the hookshot there, it will make dodging a breeze. And already we're into phase 3, just as you said. The only thing that could really hamper things at this point is just getting an absurd number of teleports, but we're getting good RNG with that as well. Getting 2 sides of the walls down there. We got the 3rd stomp there, taking down the 3rd wall. And 1 more, and we should be into phase 4.
Yep. And with this, he's just going to have to hit him. Wow, he just stayed there. That's actually quite convenient. That is the most convenient that can happen. He might... Oh my gosh.
Oh, does not get the triple there, but a double is still good.
Yeah, double is very good. Triple is extremely difficult. I'm not even sure if you can get it on the left side. I think you can only do it shooting up.
Pretty much there. And with that there, Clifford has taken down Ganon. Time will be called as soon as he gets in that doorway, and we go to screen fade. So, GG to Clifford, our big red winner.
Yep. And Shadow just has to finish up Pod, or Swamp.
Yeah, with Swamp, they should be able to go mode it there and just follow in Clifford's steps there. And looks like, yeah, Clifford got a sub 2 hour run with plenty of time to spare. Alright, so we've got Shadow making his way through Swamp Palace. This should be relatively quickly.
Yeah, and we'll see if Clifford is going to come in for an interview. And probably interview him between now and climbing GT. Give the proper time to both runners.
Indeed, there. All right, looks like he's in the waiting room. We'll see if we can get him in here. Hello and congratulations, Clifford, for being the victor in this race. There, how did you enjoy this race?
Oh, thank you. That was, man, that Hera got me really good.
That was a beautiful placement of the items in Hera there. I mean, honestly, we could not fault you in the slightest for making that choice there, but it got everybody.
I don't doubt it. That was so dumb. But my thought was, well, at least it's not like the items in the basement. If I come back, I have to do the basement anyway. So will they, like, worst case, they did Tile Room 2.
It's like pretty much there. And we had a very generous seed right off the bat there. What other parts of this seed did you enjoy?
I mean, Pod with the just starter kit to go over to Misery Mire. You had everything but the Quake Medallion right there in Pod. That was pretty...
We can hear the game audio through your speaker.
Oh, sorry.
It's very loud. Sorry.
My apologies. Is that better?
That is better. Thank you.
But yeah, I was like, yeah, Palace of Darkness did have a lot of items there. All you had to do, like you said, all you had to do is just find that Quake Medallion. It felt a little bit linear there, but honestly, it was a good seed, I thought.
Yeah, it was a fine seed. The seed was fine. I have nothing really bad to say about it, except for, I guess in the first half of Pod, I was really reconsidering why I hate Ice Rod Cave, because if the hammer had been in Ice Rod Cave, I did Aga for nothing, and then, oh no, here's everything else that I could possibly want, and that worked out.
Pretty much, yeah, yes. There, it was a. So, at what point did you decide that making the Aga play was worth it? I mean, it looked like you're pretty much going everything else possible there because Aga does take a very long time to do. Is that correct?
I was trying to put it off for as long as possible with the things that I had. I don't like to do Aga if I don't have to, but I would always rather do Aga than trek all the way back to Ice Cave without boots or flute, and so Aga. I probably should have gone a little earlier, but seems like every gamble I made this seed kind of didn't work in my favor, but it worked out, I guess. I guess the worst part of the seed was dying at Mothula.
To be fair, that any gamble that you took there, your opponent made the same gamble as well, it seemed like there. And he had a hard time on Mothula and Blind as well, by the looks of things. So,
yeah, when I got the boots in Skullwoods, I seriously considered just leaving to go get the Tempered Sword before I even went back to fight Mothula. But it's like, no, I can do it. Nope, wrong. Sometimes Mothula beats you.
It was just the almost pure random spike spam there, and only having green mail at that point there, and just Master Sword there. Yeah, he can lay down a hurting in no time flat. All right.
It looks like they're going into Ganon's Tower.
Yep, Shadow is pretty much in finishing things up now there, taking the more or less standard route. Any final thoughts on this seed, Clifford?
No, I think that's everything for me. I'll let you guys take it back over and call this awesome Ganon's Tower climb.
Indeed. Again, congratulations to you, and I hope you have a wonderful evening and a good start to your tourney challenge.
Hey, thank you very much. You guys have a great night. Finish strong, Shadow.
And indeed he will there. All right, going up through the left side of Ganon's Tower there. He still has a little ways to go to be able to get to that big key there, but it shouldn't be too far off. I believe that there's only, let's see, I'm trying to count in my head here, about 8 chests left from the check before he can get to the next one if he takes the same path that Clifford did. As I believe the key was in chest number 16 and this one was number 8-ish or so.
Oh, we got caught a little bit. He's trying to do the fancy strats in this place. If done correctly, this place can be done with the boomerang. But it's usually just better to use cane.
It's a bit more reliable, yeah, although the boomerang does look fairly fancy.
Yes, it's actually quite difficult to do. So.
All right, so a lot of both runners end up making the same decisions throughout most of the seed there. Where would you say that Clifford earned the most of his time?
Primarily not dying as much. Secondly, the not going to pod, going to Turtle Rock first.
Yeah, so they could just go straight from one to the other strictly in go mode. Yeah, just aside from the occasional execution things here and there, that's where it mainly came down to. But I would say it's a good run nonetheless there. What would you estimate his finishing time? Well, we'll see what it is. We'll get there when we get there. But while he makes his trek up the tower there, I'd like to take this time to please give a big thank you to both of our runners here, Clifford and Shadow there. Also, a thank you to all of our support team there, for our restreamers, for our trackers as well. Give a big thank you to them.
And if you did like what you saw, feel free to follow the runners. And definitely do make sure to follow all 4 ALTTPR channels, as well as all 6 speed gaming channels.
With this being a massive 512-person race there, we're going to be using pretty much all the channels that we can get our hands on there. So there will be rando all the time. All right, and with the Ice Armos being up there, Shadow should be receiving his big key shortly and heading up to the gauntlet in short fashion.
Yeah, and Armos down.
Just need to jet through the right side to get to that compass room, and he'll be set. So, would you say that one of the benefits of having a seed be so generous at the start is...
he's doing tile room.
Oh dear, that's, well,
yeah.
That'll cost some time there, but even so. Now, in your opinion there, would you prefer a seed that it was like this one, where it gives you a lot of stuff at the beginning and that is relatively linear thereafter there? Or would you like more divergence in the route so that you can have more chances to just make better routing choices?
This one is, this question is a little, because honestly it doesn't matter. Like, a seed's going to be a seed. This one was actually very open until the end. Once we left pod, we had quite a few options, and Hera was open for quite a while. They just opted not to go to Hera because they didn't want to just check a pendant. So the seed was very open.
It just that it looks like the decision process of both runners was pretty similar.
Yeah, that'll happen, especially in 1v1s. They're in a bajillion person race, somebody is going to do the crazy, goes to Hera, then goes to here, then goes to here, only checking a few locations, making gambles after gamble. But 1v1 races, you won't see that work as often. Also, check out all the chests, but you already have the big key.
I can only assume that he's just wanting some extra defenses at this point. But yeah, he's got the key. He's got more than enough keys there. He's going up the gauntlet there. Should be getting to Ganon relatively soon. It's got 18 hearts as well. That's a good amount there. I think it's about, like, what, 2 or 3 more than what Clifford had at this point? Alright, manages to manipulate the mimics successfully there, heading up into the second mimic room there. Barely scratches the nose of the second mimic there. Is going to take him down there, and we'll be heading up into the big key door and then further up the gauntlet. Oh, no, you don't want to check those spikes in there with you. But, moving on. Now, is he? Yes, it looks like he is opting to go over to the fairy room to recharge, just in case he needs it. Dragon is actually going to use that bug net that he found down here again instead. Get a fairy just in case, and then just use the other one.
And moving on up after checking the safety room, that's always a great place to check.
Because the last thing that you want to do is just have a die halfway up the tower there and have to go all the way back from the beginning, because none of the rooms stay unlocked, not even the mini bosses.
Nope, you have to do the. It is probably it is the biggest time loss in the run. Luckily, there are lots of anti-fairies and bunny beans to steal. So.
Yep, that is correct there. All right, heading into the ice section of here. Enemies on ice who are apparently wearing ice shoes and won't slip on this ice. Good takedown of those enemies there, and should be heading right into the Land Mole 2 fight momentarily. Opting to go with the Silver Arrow route there. Should be able to line this up just so. Gets one of them down. Two of them down. And the last one should be a sitting... should be sifting into the sand. And now... There we go. Alright, next up then we have the Wizrobe blocks of doom.
Yeah, Wiz Cane is a very smooth strat you can do. Now, what's even smoother looking is the no EG route of this dungeon, which is what you do in the glitched but not super glitched run of this game. Use the bow throughout this dungeon instead of the Canis Maria. It looks very cool. If you're ever looking for a very, very, very good technical speed run of this game, I'd recommend Pincus's run on speedruns on speedrun.com of No EG. It's very, very good.
Alright, looks like Shadow's gonna have to wait for that torch to go out to give another shot at that, but does so. And moves on. We're up to the final few rooms before Moldorm 2. Opting to check out these last few chests, even though he has everything he could possibly want.
He might just be doing this because he knows he's lost. I'm not sure.
Likely, I suppose, but just see what happens to be in there. Oh, did he not get the red mail from... Where was it? Was it also in Turtle Rock? I can't remember where we found the red mail. Oh, it gets the mirror shield for, well, what it's worth.
I actually don't remember where we found the red mail. He's chasing around this guy to get the fairy. That's a good move.
Alright, taking down Lamol with... Or not Lamol, Moldorm there with 2 slashes there. Oh, that's right. The red mail was on Landmolus. Or Landmolus 1.
Oh yeah, it was Landmo, and he never did Landmo.
One of the yep, that is correct. All right, we've got Aga 2 on the table right now. There, this first position should get 2 shots off the bat. out of the required 6 hits there. All 3 of those balls can and will count if he can hit them back. Gets another hit there for hit number 3. That's number 4 and maybe 5 there. So this should be the last round. And down goes Agatu there. And now we'll be heading over to Ganon for our final fight of the night. Link plays his flute and summons the Negaduck to head over to the pyramid.
And on to the fight again. Pretty. Oh, I didn't notice that there was drumble. You were supposed to bring food text. That's actually funny.
Not one I've run into myself, but
for people who don't know, that's a reference to Zelda 1. There, you have to bring meat to a enemy. Zelda 1, not to this guy in Zelda 1, but you know, in Zelda 1, there's an enemy that needs meat. So
isn't that like one of the moblins or something?
I believe there is yeah, you have to bring meat to some angry moblins in some dungeons to get past. They're very hungry, but they won't try to kill you. Something like that. I don't know much about Zelda 1. I just know that meat's required, and that's what they say. Or they say drumble.
Pretty much there, because as we all know, there food is the way to a moblin's heart and his stomach. Oh no, it falls off the edge. Unfortunate. Opting to get the fairy here instead of using one of the potions he has left. Good choice. All right, take 2. Let's go.
Yeah, he's got a. Yeah, he needed to get on the right side. You always want to be on the farther side away from the trident. He also should be considering grabbing the fairy south of the pyramid. Oh, he did. Right.
Yeah, I believe he took that fairy for a health there, but he still has the fairy left over from the safety room in Ganon's tower.
Does have the blue potion? That's good.
If you're not going to use it now, when are you going to use it? And we are back into phase 3. 3 more hits after this. And we'll be into phase 4, and we should be able to stick the arrow in the pig. Yes, we did find the light arrows. They're just sitting on the ground there. You did not hide them very well. That's 1 shot to Ganon there. 2 shots to Ganon there. Good switch.
Mm-hmm.
One slash, 1 arrow, and Ganon is down.
There we go.
All right, and that is time for Shadow85. We have ended the domination of Dr. Wily there. Clearly, he, Bowser, and Ganondorf are all in cahoots. All right, let's see if we can get him in here for an interview, if he so desires, shortly.
And don't see him. Oh, unless that's this guy? Nope. Not that I can tell. Perhaps our restreamer will let us know if he wants to. Otherwise, there is matches going on and matches starting soon. Yeah, round actually just started, so I mean, if he's not coming in, we can always call it and send you guys over to Speed Gaming 3, which is just leaving Escape.
Yes, there. Well, in the meantime there, once again, thank you to both of our runners there. Thank you to Clifford and to Shadows there. Thank you to our restreamers there. Thank you to our trackers. Our restreamer tonight was... shoot, where'd it go? I have it right here. Yes, our restreamer was Cynac.
And Dream Master's our tracker.
Yes.
Okay, well, we're not hearing anything. Oh, there's Shadow. We can run in for a quick interview. Hey, Shadow. Welcome to our quick interview.
Congratulations on your finish there. What were your thoughts on the scene?
I thought the seed was all right. I just couldn't play tonight for some reason.
I think you did fine. There was you both got tripped up by the hook shot in Hera, which is the hammer being up there. You both left it. You went and did a lot more than Clifford did. Clifford went straight to Turtle Rock, which is probably the more correct play. Although trying to avoid it to save the time, climbing up Death Mountain again, and doing Turtle Rock, I mean, is something. But when you're already on Death Mountain, it's not too much of a time loss.
But yeah, it looks like you made mostly the same choices other than that through the entire run, so it was pretty much anyone's game up to that point, I think.
Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, I kept dying, I think that threw me off too.
Yeah, I mean, Mothula and Blind are very tricky fights to do there with just green mail there and, well, was just the Master Sword on hand. But you did take them out there, and that is commendable. That Yeah, any other thoughts on the seed there? What do you think about all the cornucopia of items that we had in Kakariko and also later on in Palace of Darkness?
Yeah, I felt like we were getting items, but I was looking for the hammer most of the time and never did find, or it took forever to find.
Yes, I mean, Hera, when it's abandoned there, you don't really want to trek up all the way down up to Death Mountain there, all the way up to the top of Hera, and then find nothing there. So that is completely understandable.
Yes. I don't remember where the mirror was exactly, but it seemed like I didn't have any way to get to Hera for a while.
No, the mirror you kind of found it around the same spot that you got access to a bunch of other things. So Hera being a pendant was just not the right place to go to first. If either of you had made that decision, this one might have been a bit more of a blowout with the location of the rest of the items. Somebody might have gone to Turtle Rock right after getting that hook shot, and then suddenly you have flippers, and suddenly you're done with seed. So honestly, you both pretty much played the game the same. You just had a few more deaths, and then did the extra stuff after. It would have been a lot closer had you gone straight to Turtle Rock, though. Like, a lot closer.
Yeah, I thought about that, but then I thought that it might, if it wasn't there, it would be a lot faster to do it last.
So for your own information too, going back up Turtle Rock is about a minute, and so you're already halfway there, you know, and all you have to do is cross the bridge and go to Turtle Rock. So in that case, it would apply. It is generally better. Let's just let you know, like, it's about a minute to climb the mountain, so you can take that into account when thinking about the other locations. But
yeah.
and Turtle Rock isn't that slow when you have all the keys. Like, the only reason that dungeon is rough is because of like how the dungeon's laid out when you have to collect chests. So yeah, that was a good seed. Do you have any other thoughts on the seed?
No, not on the seed.
Okay. Well, in that case, we're gonna host one of the randomizer races is finishing up. One is having technical issues, it looks like. So we're just gonna, for now, pass you over to a randomizer runner. But there are races starting very shortly. 1 second while I bring up the schedule again. The schedule is being very slow today. We've got a race starting at 10 p.m. on Speed Gaming 3, 11 p.m. on Speed Gaming 4, 11:30 p.m. at Speed Gaming 5, 12 a.m. at Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2, and that's the rest for today. And there are a bunch of matches tomorrow. So with that being said, we're gonna pass you off to Sakura, who is running a seed right now. And if you want to check out tournament races after this, you can do that.
Have a wonderful evening there, and enjoy your Zelda randomizer. Good night.